Welcome to the Blacktop Legends podcast. Greg and Paolo here, also known as the Gula Brothers, founders of Asphalt Marketers and authors of the book Asphalt Digital Dominance. This show was created to honor the true legends of the asphalt industry, the contractors, leaders, and families who show up every day, go battle on the pavement, adapt through changing times, and build something that lasts. The name Blacktop Legends comes from exactly that. Not the loudest voices, not always the flashiest brands, but the people who've respected through consistency, craftsmanship, and decades of hard work.
We launched this podcast because too often the real stories in the industry never get told. The early mornings, the tough seasons, the risks taken, the lessons learned the hard way, and the pride that comes from building something bigger than yourself. And we couldn't think of better guests to kick things off. Today, we're joined by Vince Petrozza and Flavio Petrozza from Empire Paving Limited, located in Toronto, Canada. A family-owned asphalt paving company established in 1976, now approaching 50 years in business.
Empire Paving has grown from humble beginnings into a highly respected operation, serving commercial, industrial, institutional, and multi-residential properties while still maintaining a private residential division. They work with property managers, developers, and contractors, and they've done it without ever losing the values that built the company in the first place. It's a father and son's business, and the sons, Vince and Flavio, represent the next generation of leadership, balancing old school work ethic with modern growth, innovation, and long-term thinking.
This conversation is about the road from then to now, what it really takes to last in this industry, leadership, family, balance, and legacy, and lessons every asphalt contractor can learn, no matter where they are in their journey. So whether you're in your first few seasons or decades deep into the business, there's something here for you. Let's get into it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yes, it's truly an honor to have you on the Blacktop Legends podcast, especially given Empire Paving's long history in the industry. We're really looking forward to hearing your story and sharing it with our listeners.
Oh, and by the way, congratulations, guys, because it's 2026. You guys started in 76. It's 50 years this year, right?
That's right. Yeah. Many years have passed.
Amazing.
Some
awesome.
years we didn't remember it was so long ago.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back to the beginning. Empire Paving was established in 1976. What do you know about the early days and how did the company first get off the ground?
Yeah, well, our old man, our dad, Anthony or Tony Petrozza, as some people know him, he started off actually digging what do you call them? Cold rooms, I guess in English it would be cantinas, cold rooms for people.
Like a cellar.
Hey?
Like cellars.
Yeah, cellar. Cold cellars.
Yeah.
And I guess when it wasn't actually him, he was working for somebody at this time. And they would dig the cold cellars, and then once they would install them, because I guess the Italian old people used to like to have continue their traditions of hanging dried meats from that they would make with their own hands, and wine as well.
Meats,
Cured meats, all kinds of stuff they would store in their sauce, I guess.
Yeah.
In cold cellars, tomato sauce. So then once you were finished the cold cellar, I guess you had to repair the driveway as well, the asphalt driveways. And so they were doing that for a little while, and then the man that I guess had the business didn't really want to do it anymore. And he said to my dad, our father, if he wanted to buy the business from him, he says, but he always says the word business very lightly because there really wasn't much there,
Wasn't much
right?
of a business back then.
Truck, maybe a small tandem dump truck and a couple of tools.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Tell the red light story too, though, because it's funny because the way destiny works, you know what I mean? It's like, it's funny how one decision sometimes in your life, like what Vince is saying, yeah, but then he had this moment, I guess, where he decided that he would actually do that.
Stoplight, yeah.
And he was at he was at Jane and Finch in our neighborhood, not far from here. He was on his way back from wherever he was. And he always says he got a red light. And if he didn't get that red light that day, God only knows what he would have ended up doing, because he's sitting at the light and he starts to get this smell, and it's asphalt. There's guys working there on the road, right? And he had the window down. And for some reason, he said, that's what I want to do from now on. I want to figure out how I got to get into this business here. And he always says, if you didn't get that red light that day, maybe we wouldn't be sitting talking to you about this right now. You know?
That's awesome.
It's really funny how destiny works that way.
Wow, that's
destiny for
amazing.
sure.
And you know what? For those of you listening, we've been friends with Flavio and Vince since we were little kids, so we go way back. And Empire Paving is one of the reasons why, and other reasons as well, why we focus on the asphalt industry today. But I never knew that your father started with cold cellar rooms. Flavio, I remember when we were kids, you know, as much as you guys were involved in asphalt, I know you had a big presence doing concrete. You used to talk about how much curbing you did. I remember we were little kids walking the street. We do asphalt. We do a lot of concrete. We do a lot of curbs and sidewalks and all that. But I didn't know that it started
that came much later. That came much later. After the cold cellars.
Later. There you go. I still remember we were little kids walking around our neighborhood and that conversation came up. But that's awesome.
That was probably in the mid to late 70s. And then in the 80s, they stopped doing driveways. Really, we stopped doing driveways like almost immediately, only a few years after he started. And he started having relationships with property managers, mostly like the Jewish people in the Jewish community that own buildings,
right?
And needed work done. And he would tell us, he still tells us now, you know, those jobs were all negotiated with just a handshake with the owner. It kind of took off from the late 70s, early 80s, I think.
Yeah. And he did say that he found that the residential industry at the time was a bit flooded. You know, there were a lot of residential pavers at the time. And I mean, the stories he tells are a lot of manual labor and, you know, like, and pretty decent sized patchwork and even some small parking lots without even the proper equipment to be doing it. He said they'd shovel trucks of asphalt if they had to, because, you know, there wasn't this huge presence in the commercial industrial industry yet. Small commercial, and like Vince is saying, patchwork for, you know, residential buildings and stuff like that. So he went right away in a different direction because he saw there were a lot of residential pavers at the time.
And he went a different direction.
He went a different direction, and a lot of that work was done by hand. He says they didn't even have a bobcat; they had a little roller, and it was a lot of hand labor, man. Yeah.
Wow.
I can only imagine.
That's awesome.
Hey guys,
so
growing up,
your dad. Sorry, Paulo, 1 second. So your dad saw at the red light, saw the asphalt, fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Then he sees the opportunity. There's too many people in residential. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go into commercial, industrial. And we're speaking of humble beginnings, but if you know Empire Paving to what they've evolved to today, it's something pretty spectacular. And the equipment that they operate with, it's a awesome operation. But we'll get more into that.
Hey guys, growing up in the business or around the business, when did you guys personally realize that this wasn't just like your dad's job or your dad's business, but something bigger?
I mean, you always had that feeling because he was so immersed in it. Like, you know, Saturdays he would be there. You didn't see him from morning until night, every day from Monday to Saturday. And then Saturday afternoon, he would come back exhausted and just collapse on the couch and go to sleep until on and off, basically until Sunday night, because it was so hands-on for him. It was so precious for him to grow the business at that time, knowing that it was still in its, you know, developing stages. And it's a totally different mindset than I think that we have nowadays, because he didn't really have the support system that we have around us to help us to run the business as well. As much as, you know, we're the driving force behind it, we always say we're only as good as our people around us that help us to run the business. So I think that's an important factor that was different in his life than it would be in our lives.
Yeah, for me, I think I was probably anywhere between 8 to 12 years old. And then, if you remember, because he used to bring both of us, we used to get in the car maybe on a weekend or something like that and drive around to the different job sites, because he'd always go and see the job sites, right? So like you're saying, it was his job. My dad had a job that he went to every day. And then when I finally would get in the car with him and we'd go and I'd get to the site and he'd say, okay, go, the guy's going to take, and I'd jump on the roller, some guy was running a little roller. He'd say, okay, get on. And I'd go running the roller with the guy, jump on his lap and stuff. And my dad would be talking to people and telling everyone what to do. It's when I realized like, oh, like he's the boss, like he's the one who really decides what happens here. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
I might've been around somewhere between 10 and 12 years old when it started to actually click in my mind.
Kick
Yeah,
in,
and
yeah.
up until the early 90s, I remember going to the job sites with him on Saturday because he
Mhm.
wouldn't work on the job sites all week, but then Saturday he would take us to the job site and he would get out of the truck and he would start shoveling asphalt himself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like he was never really a machine operator. He was, but he could offer his labor as much as he could because that's, he was helping the guys, encouraging them, showing them that no job was too small even for him.
Always.
Right?
Always.
Whatever he could do.
After I'll tell you a quick story about his resolve.
Yeah. Whatever he could do to help, he would jump in.
The rain, yeah.
But yeah, you know what? The fact that you guys said, he would always come home late. We hear that often, right? Growing an asphalt paving business, it's a lot of hours. We have friends of ours in the States that they said similar when they were growing up and their dad would get home late. It looked like he just got back from war. how hard he worked. And these little kids who now are in the business are watch that, right? Yeah, that's reference to American pavement specialist. But
interesting to know that it would be the guest down there. But I mean, the business is the business, I guess.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So did you guys want to tell that story now that you were going to say about the rain, or?
I mean, when Vince was just it popped in my head when he was talking about him shoveling on weekends. Later on in my teens, I spent a lot of years outside running equipment, and I used to run one of our spreaders. At that time, I think we were already running Caterpillar spread, like bigger equipment. And we were doing a job up in Newmarket. It started raining. Right from first thing in the morning. It was kind of light rain, and then it was on and off. And the foreman looks at me and he goes, I don't know, you want to call I said, no, you call him. He says, no, you want to call your dad because it's raining outside. I said, you call him. He goes, no, you call him. So we went back and forth like this. So we call him. And I guess he had made some commitments and, to this client that we were going to get this thing done and, within these days and whatever. So we said, listen, it's raining up here. He says, that's okay. It's going to stop. That was his favorite line, right?
Yeah.
It's going to stop. Or it's not raining here. And it was always funny because we'd get off the phone and my foreman would always say, yeah, of course it's not raining in the office.
It's not raining here.
It's not raining here, right? So, okay. And he's like, no, get going. And we're looking, right? And it's just pouring rain, right? We're all wearing raincoats and stuff. And we're thinking, okay, fuck. So we start up the machines. We get going. I start pushing trucks. I'm miserable in the rain. This guy pulls around the corner, gets out of his car, and he's got one of these little skimpy leather brown jackets on, right? His old Italian style shoes and a pair of jeans, no rain gear, doesn't say a word to anybody, and walks up and down every pass with the spreader for a good 2 hours, drenched in, just dripping, soaking wet. Doesn't say a word to anybody.
Yeah.
Every single laborer on the site was running left, right, and center, shoveling, getting it done because they felt like they had their, like their boss was there with them in the trenches. You know what I mean? And that's always kind of the way that he's led. You know what I mean? Like
he always led by example.
So they stepped up.
General that goes to war, you're not gonna, and unless the general's there with them, the war most likely won't be won. So
fortunately nowadays we don't lay asphalt in that kind of weather anymore.
Yeah.
Those days are done.
Those days are
Back
done.
then, whatever it takes to get it done, right?
Just a little tidbit on like kind of his.
Yeah, it's an old school mentality too. We're not scared. We're gonna do
his
it.
Resolve.
We have to do it, and this is the way we're gonna do it, and
that's awesome.
It has to get done.
That's
Dude,
funny,
that's
man.
a true veteran, true industry veteran for sure.
Yeah.
From saying it's not raining here when he's in an office to then showing up and showing the crews that he's willing to get out there with them in the rain. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't the first or the last time he did that.
So,
Yeah.
um, we know running a family business isn't easy. So, what's been the biggest challenge working alongside your father and you both as brothers? And what's been the biggest advantages?
I think transition of power from operations being run by our father to operations being run by us was quite a challenge for him. I always think of Al Pacino in a movie with Bradley Cooper, I think it was, where he tells Bradley Cooper, if you want it, you gotta take the talons out of your skin and pull them out and get them off of you if you want to take control over it, right?
Right.
Because you're basically dealing with somebody's baby that they started, and as much as we're his sons and he wants to trust us, his governance of the company was always like iron fisted, but
It's a bit hard for him to let go.
I have to also say that he did find a way to let go and let us, run the company the way we want to for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
And what
awesome.
was the biggest advantage of that? Like running a family business together, I guess, because that was like the challenge, but what would be the biggest advantage of it?
What would be the biggest advantage of running a family business? I mean, we get to do things the way we want to do them.
I mean, I think there's also a huge advantage that we're here together. You know what I mean? We can lean on each other. There's times where, if we want to, for example, go away for, a little trip with our families, we're able to do that because I know he's going to be here to take care of things while I'm gone, and vice versa. I'm going to be here to take care of things while he's gone. That's a huge advantage. You know what I mean? And,
Right.
I think then, the other side, well, there's many ups, right? As difficult as family businesses can be, there's many pros as well. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that's probably one of the bigger ones. You know what I mean? But then there's this thing where it really strengthens even though it's not always perfect. You know what I mean?
No,
You're always gonna have
Of course.
spots and whatever, right? But it really strengthens your relationship.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
exactly. You respect each other.
I mean, you guys know this because you guys work together, but not every family gets to work together. You know what I mean?
No.
So as difficult as that can be, because you're in each other's face all the time, there's also another side of it that's really positive as well. You know what I mean? Like, I know what's going on in his life. He knows what's going on in my life.
It's
You know
a
what I mean?
balance. It's definitely a balance.
I
Yeah.
think that's
So there's a
beautifully
pro.
said.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. Like, exactly. We're two brothers in business talking to two brothers in business. So we know
Yeah.
how it is. And I hear it a lot of time too. How do you guys get along so well? You and your brother, you're on the same page. That's not often that you see that.
Yes.
So I feel like the dynamic Paulo and I have is the same between Vince and Flavio.
Yeah.
And from what I see as well, you guys kind of divide and conquer. I know, Flavio, you're more on the operations side, where Vince, you're more in the office estimates. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I started off with operations as well, probably like 13, 14 years ago. And then when Flav came back and joined us again in the business after a few years,
Yeah.
that then he really took hold of the operations side. So while he's here, he's doing it, and then if he's away, then I just take over again. But it's
You
pretty
guys just
seamless
help each
Yeah.
other out either way.
either
I
way.
think that was a big advantage because like even everything was on your father's back when he was alone in the company.
Yeah,
And then you guys
yeah,
joined
yeah.
and then you guys took over some parts. And then once you guys, all three of you were there, you were able to like figure out who's gonna
That's why I say it's a big advantage because he
Huge,
did
yeah.
a really long stretch where he couldn't necessarily say to, hey, I'm going away for a week, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Run the business or whatever, while I'm gone, right? He always felt this, I'm sure he did always feel like an overwhelming obligation to not be able
Oh,
to step
definitely.
away until the winter time came where he would lay the guys off and then he could get away. So
Yeah.
Right. So Empire Paving, as we know, has grown significantly over the years. What does growth look like to you? Like more projects, bigger projects, better clients, stronger systems, employees? What's
for
growth look
sure.
like?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of all of that for sure.
We're solidifying our existing relationships with clients that we're happy working for and that love having us.
Yep.
It is probably the biggest thing for us.
The equipment has
Yeah,
definitely doubled and come a long way in the sense of technologies.
Yeah.
So we've been able to implement a lot of the technology because of our, obviously we've had
Growing.
some success, and we've been able to implement some of the technology that some of the manufacturers are adding to their equipment, making our quality of work,
Mhm.
keep it to a very high standard. So
Yeah,
that's
and I'm sure it helps with efficiency as well, right? With the jobs and your
yeah,
team and
it
everything.
does
Yeah.
help with efficiency, but your organization on the inside is really where your efficiency comes from. Don't get me wrong, like you got to be organized, but you obviously need to have the guys and the equipment that's going to get it done. That's very important. But if it's not, if that puzzle isn't put together properly, then it can get a bit chaotic when you're running like 7 or 8 jobs at a time, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Almost like an orchestra, like an orchestra.
It
They have
is
like,
exactly. You like to say
everybody's playing their own instrument, but someone's got to bring it all together.
That or a chess game.
Yeah.
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 Setting up the crews and the guys out on the field and managing the equipment and what goes where. And
Yeah. I really
is.
enjoy playing chess. It's one of my favorite games.
Yeah, same here.
Which game? Sorry?
Chess.
Chess.
Oh, chess,
Nice.
yeah. Chess,
Nice.
yeah.
Good. Yeah, sure. If your guys are running crews out every day and making that all come together, you need to know how to play chess.
It's a lot of focus. Like you really
Yeah.
get to a point where you think it's just automatic at some point, but I
Mhm.
guess people on the outside looking at it would be like, you have to have so much focus in order to understand who's going to go where and what the process is going to be. And it takes a lot of brain energy and power.
Brain power. So maybe
Def-
maybe the tip there is to get into playing chess. If you're an asphalt paving or an asphalt maintenance contractor, as Flavio said and Vince is talking about,
Maybe start playing chess.
start playing chess, because then that'll give you like more brain power to like run your crews and be more efficient and be
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
trained in that
I think
sense.
it's psychologist as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a therapist on call.
There
No,
you go. There
when
you
he
go.
when he says that, it's so true because there's so many things you need to pay attention to, in the sense where that guy might not work out well with that guy. That truck can't send it to that site because those two guys don't necessarily get along the best. When you have like 75, employees or 100, but whatever it is you have going on, paying attention to those little details right there, I mean,
Massive.
that can get lost really quick. You know what I mean?
Makes things go
So-
smoother when
Yeah.
you
But if pay attention to them and really, take care of those little details there, things are going to go a lot smoother for you throughout the day, right?
Right.
Sure.
And I know you guys have like different crews, guys out on the asphalt paving crew, concrete crews and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, multiple preparation crews, multiple paving crews, and then we'll have multiple concrete crews out as well on any given day. So
Awesome. And I've seen some of the equipment. It's really impressive. Like I know you guys have the big cat pavers and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So you guys are pretty well equipped to take on any size job, I would say.
Any size.
yeah, we've been running those since the early 2000, since 2000, really. I mean,
Yeah.
that was another thing, that as old school as Dad was, he was also a very modern man. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like he really changed with the times quickly. He wasn't really a very like let's say, like, he was schooled as well. He came here, he was 17 years old, he didn't know any English, he finished high school, he did 1 year of university at U of T, so he was a schooled person. So he was always good at being modern and changing with the times. And when most people were running smaller, like Lee Boy 15-foot pavers, he bought a cat paver in 2000 right away. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah.
And
So
and I was emptying trucks in less than a minute. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So
yeah.
yeah.
So
We got
your clientele and the property managers and developers you guys work with, they see that you're well equipped to perform the job and get it done
Yeah,
right.
they love them. They're always commenting on the condition of our equipment
Mhm.
and how much they really appreciate seeing that, because it makes their job easier and they know they're getting the right work done.
Yeah.
But yeah, our dad has always wanted the latest technologies in
That's awesome.
equipment. And even as far as GPS equipment, we've had that for a long time as well. When a lot
That's
of companies didn't even know what it was, and they were like, "Why are you guys spending all this money on this stuff?" But it's
Made us
really
very efficient.
made our life a lot easier, yeah, and our foremen's lives a lot easier as well.
That's fantastic. That's really forward thinking of your dad. As much as we think they're old school, he had
That's right.
that.
That's right. I wanted to
think-
mention that, right? Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's a misconception, right? There's this guy who came from Italy with no schooling, and all he knew how to do was work with his hands.
Mm-hmm.
fortunately for us, that's not our story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was a little more schooled, well-spoken, and well-spoken, and a little bit more modern. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
although he had hardcore old school values, he moved with the
And
times.
he had a lot of, I mean, let's be honest, he had a lot of entrepreneurship,
Definitely.
which is what it takes to open and run a successful business, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey
And
guys,
go ahead.
sorry. Like looking back, we're talking about all this stuff, but looking back, was there a season that really tested the business? Like where you had to adapt or rethink how things were done?
we were in the 90s. I remember in the 90s,
Mhm.
I remember my dad like breaking down emotionally in front of the guys and letting them know, guys, the business is not there right now. There's not a lot of work going on. We're going to have to do something about the rates so that you guys are getting paid because my prices are way down in order to get work because of how scarce it was.
Yeah.
So that
pressure.
left an impression. Yeah, it was like late 80s, early 90s.
Early 90s.
I heard.
There was that
We
crash.
were 12, 13, maybe
Yeah,
13
it
years
was
old. So yeah.
Yeah, I heard
I mean,
around
this past year,
1990.
around 1990. Yeah, this past year, last year was a bit of a slower year. 2019 to 2024 were just like up years for everyone, I think. And
Yeah.
last year was a bit more challenging. This year will probably be similar if I have to guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Construction in general got hit hard in
Yeah.
2025.
07 and 08, although the real estate market did
Yeah.
dip a little bit, we found that we kind of kept
Well,
our heads above water, without too much struggle there. So, I don't really think that was a real
No,
test, of the situation. But I know that my wife, he says he went through a couple times where, but weathered the storm and got through it. So
I think all of our generation
our generation has never really experienced a real recession.
Yeah.
That one yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hopefully,
So-
it can.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Mm.
So you guys have seen the industry evolve, equipment, expectations, technology, marketing. What's changed the most? I know you talked about some GPS stuff, and what hasn't changed at all over the years?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of what's changed the most, I think technology has played a huge role in advancing the business and making it easier on the guys and creating some complexes with the guys as well outside, which is
So until they learn it,
until they learn it.
Yeah.
Marketing is like you said to touch on marketing as well.
Sure.
So marketing
Yeah.
is we wish we knew go online earlier.
Asphalt marketers. Yeah.
Asphalt, but I think you guys actually came in to speak a bit about that in the best possible time into the business, because before, like back in the day, there just weren't as many people online maybe and paying attention to the social media the way they do now.
Mhm.
So that's definitely changed the marketplace quite a bit, and being front runners with you guys in this campaign is key for us.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Having a solid marketing company, like Vince is saying, has been a huge deal for us. Like, right from the get-go, you right away in the first 2 years, the leads that it produced, the amount of work that we were able to secure, obviously you have to do your part, right? Vince had to make that he locked down those deals and did his part in getting the work, and me the same, right?
All of us, yeah.
But those were coming through, and they were coming through pretty steady, and they were giving us that much more opportunities to get it done. But I'll tell you what hasn't changed. Now, Vince touched on what has changed, which is the technology side of the equipment, all that stuff. Absolutely. What hasn't changed is the need for manual labor. That is still there, and I believe that will need to continue to be there. And that's probably our biggest challenge nowadays, because unfortunately, the next generation coming up isn't quite as interested in doing manual labor as the one before it. And the quality and all that, it's not easy to find good people. But no matter what, when that spreader starts moving and it starts feeding asphalt and the extension is all the way open, you need somebody to shovel that asphalt out to that extension. When we're paving up against building walls, that spreader's got to come 6 inches off that wall, because you can't put the extension right up out against the building, because you're going to scratch and break everything.
Right.
Somebody's got to stand there and shovel that.
It goes back to
Yes.
the old age saying that motivating anybody to work is usually one of the hardest challenges. Motivating.
Definitely.
Yeah, and having those guys, you know what I mean, and finding good people to do the work is a challenging thing nowadays. I remember when I was a kid, on site, you know, there were times where some guy wouldn't work out. There was another 10 like him waiting to take his place that were just as good as him and just as willing. And that's not really the case as much anymore. So that's that's a bit of a challenge. So what hasn't changed is the need for that. People who are
Exactly.
willing that, you know, and want to work in the trades industries. That's
And there's
And
good
we
money.
hear this across the entire industry. We hear this from a lot of contractors.
Yeah.
It's a
There's
struggle.
there's great money in it. I mean, if for who
sure.
applies himself and wants to be, you know, a good employee and wants to learn how to do this job and is good at it, they can make really, you know, the rates are very competitive now.
But don't kid
Yeah.
yourself. You have to be a little bit of a special type of person to be able to work in industries like asphalt, concrete, roofing.
Yeah.
You know, these
Yep.
industries here,
It's
kind
hard
of
work.
cut from a different cloth, man. It's very, I've seen a lot of people come and last 24 to 48 hours and then be like, this is not for me.
The
Yeah.
hours are tough. The hours are rough.
The hours are long.
Press season here in Toronto, obviously,
Press,
because of the
heat.
weather
Yeah.
dynamics.
The
with
summer, it's really hot. The winter's cold. I know you don't go so deep into the winter, but I'm sure you run into cold temperatures,
Yeah,
right?
8
So
months. 8 months of work, and you try to cram in a year's worth of work in 8 months.
Their labor workload has significantly, you know, lessened because of the technology that we were talking about before, where things have gotten better. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things now that just in the paving, for example, you know, the GPS systems and the mobile CAT system that we run on our machine, which are, you know, it's a sensor system where we set a mat in our computer and it runs that mat consistently for as long as we want it to. There's no more cranking up and down by hand for human error, which then you need to stop the machine. Hey guys, bring asphalt, start shoveling, start raking. There's no more up and down, fix this, fix that as often, right? So that's where technology has taken away, you know, that extra labor force, you know, but it's always necessary. You always need it. It's always there. Yeah.
You know what I kind of foresee? You know, there's AI that's kind of starting to take over almost every industry. Eventually, that's going to cut out a lot of jobs. And a lot of people are going to be looking for jobs. And one job that AI can't do is the physical labor work,
No.
right? So maybe this struggle might end at some point. I don't know. I kind of foresee. I could be wrong.
Not unless they have robots out there shoveling asphalt.
yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, well,
exactly.
yeah. Maybe Tesla might make a robot that.
Who knows? Who knows, man?
Maybe in
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows, right?
So, guys, today Empire is very strong in the commercial industrial space. What advice would you give contractors trying to move from like small residential work into the larger, more complex projects?
Start small.
Yeah.
You know, build relationships with people. Be realistic about what you can actually achieve. Don't
bite off more than you
Yeah,
can chew.
don't bite off more than you can chew. Thank you. Because a lot of people do, and even people that are very well established do this, and we really pride ourselves on trying not to do any of that, as it just sacrifices quality and efficiency so much.
That's right. Your reputation precedes you is basically what he's getting at, and that's all what I feel like your reputation precedes. So if you're getting out there, and you got all this, you know, fire and piss and vinegar in you that you want to grow and this and that, and you start saying yes to everything, and now you're not showing up. And when you do show up, you're trying to get it done as fast as you possibly can because you got to get to the next one, and you're letting people down, and it's just, you know,
It's a cycle.
Just be like a freight train, you know what I mean? Slow and steady, bang, 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 and then everything will come, you know what I mean?
And try to surround yourself with like good people that will help you in your. Because nobody can do it
That's
alone.
right. That's
Nobody
right.
can do it alone.
Yeah. And don't chase them. Don't chase the money. Chase what you're passionate about. As long
That's
as
a
you're
good one.
chasing what you're passionate about, everything else falls into place, I find.
And you know why you're right about that? Because a lot of people do chase the money, right? They want to get the work just because they want the money. But if you do it with passion, you do it with integrity, you provide a good service, you don't cut corners,
Your passion
just
pays
take on
you.
everything.
Yeah.
And then you'll have a good reputation, and then you'll get repeat business. Because
That's right.
These commercial industrial buildings come with property managers who are looking for the work, and they have other buildings or they need the maintenance done down the road. Like
Yeah, there's always
it
opportunity.
starts to compound and snowball.
Yeah. And when you see you're doing what you do with passion, something you love to do on a daily day in and day out, you pay attention to those small details, you service well, you're efficient, your quality is good, and you're really excited about what you do every day, and you make them feel excited about it. Money, growth, all that will come on its own after.
Definitely.
That's well said. Yeah. So don't bite off more than you can chew, and don't say yes to everything would be your advice there. Like there's a lot of guys that want to get into commercial work, and I would say go for it. But as Flavio and Vince just gave some good advice.
If the prices are good and you can handle the work, absolutely
right.
say yeah.
Unless you can
maybe
service,
get it.
unless you can service it properly, you know what I mean? Then sure, say yes. As long as you feel like you can service it properly, be there and
Well,
get.
because then if you have to start subbing work out, like subcontract,
That's the worst thing you can do.
then you can't control it anymore, and you're only as good as that sub, and that sub really is not as concerned about the quality of the work as he would be if he was working for the client.
Because it's not, his.
Yeah. So it's your reputation on the line, right?
That's a great point.
It's your reputation on the line. That's right.
You think you're getting it done, you're subbing it out, but then they're representing your company. So you got to make sure.
And the client's going to be like, I thought I was dealing with Empire Paving. Why is Asphalt Marketing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And work on having a smaller marketing plan at the beginning, and then a marketing company that can help you, and then slowly growing that as your business grows, I think is key, because marketing is it's becoming more and more of a chunk of your advertising budgets right nowadays, and it's more important. So people should make more room for it, I think, because it really does pay off. But as a starting company, as a company that's starting out in asphalt, I think doing some marketing, but then trying to solidify the relationships that you might be able to make with property managers is just as, if not more important, right?
Exactly. I've heard people say, try and get out there, make like one contact a day or 2 contacts a week, even offline type of stuff still works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Setting those kind of goals that you just mentioned there, Greg, are very important.
Yep, exactly. So thank you for that. And thank you for that advice to anyone listening. From your perspective, how important, Vince has kind of touched on it, and Flavio's touched on it as well, how important is online visibility and reputation today compared to even 10 to 15 years ago?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge now. I mean, everybody wants to be at the top of the search charts, right?
Right.
For obvious reasons, everybody's online, and everybody's paying attention to what they're seeing in their face. I mean, maybe there's too much of it now. We're in a very competitive market, so we don't kid ourselves. Anybody can hire marketing companies to help them do this, but you have to be at the top of that game as much as you can, because it really is a business generator, and it's not only a business generator, but it's like a scale that measures how good your company is compared to another company, basically, right?
Definitely.
All of these reviews online now, and if you don't have a good review base, then people won't call you.
Yeah. And I want to add something to that. It's so huge in the sense where since we started with you guys, we are commercial industrial paver. That's what we do. That's our bread and butter. A few years back, we put together, a smaller residential crew, and we have them doing private residential work. And I have to say, the marketing side of things has helped us on the commercial industrial side. It has. However, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. In today's day and age, unfortunately, people do not want you knocking on their fucking door anymore.
That's right.
The doorbell rings. I don't know if anybody's seen the comedian Smash. He does a whole skit when somebody hits turn the lights off. Hide. Be quiet.
Dive behind the couch. Don't make them see your home.
Everybody's afraid that somebody's coming to kill you or rob you or something.
Or sell you something.
85% of our residential work has come from your services, and then it's on us to lock those in.
Right.
So the importance of it is astronomical. Like if you plan on staying in this, sector, it's astronomical, man. The importance of having strong marketing presence is very important.
Well, thank you for saying that. And We've been working, for those of you that don't know, we've been working with Empire Paving for over a decade now, over 10 years straight. And we thank you guys. We appreciate your loyalty. And I hope we've served you well over the years. It's been a fantastic working relationship. So thank
Yeah,
you.
man.
Thank you for that. And we're happy to be part of your growth. I know it's not all from us. You guys do a lot of amazing things on your own, but in the online world and digital marketplace, I'm happy we could be a part of that.
Yeah, you guys have been a great part of our growth, man. So yeah, it's been
Thank
a
you.
great partnership.
That's great to hear, and we're happy and we're thankful.
Thank you, guys.
Very thankful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, and thanks for answering all these questions. You know, we love hearing your story coming out on this podcast. So in terms of leadership and balance, leadership can be demanding. How do you personally handle the pressure of responsibility, decision-making, and keeping the business moving forward?
Meditation.
You need to, right?
Sometimes you need it, actually.
There
It's a
you
good.
go. So a mix
Yeah.
of chess and meditating. That's
Yeah,
when you don't see you guys.
Chess.
It's probably right on his arm.
Yeah, there's no joke. Like meditate. Like there's different ways. I mean,
Yeah.
personally, I have a very strong faith. That's how I try to reground myself and put my feet back down on the ground and deal with the stresses and the overwhelming and the, you know, when we're busy between, and I'm sure he's the same. If I don't get 120 phone calls in a day, it's not a normal day. You know what I mean? If it's not at least that many phone calls. I
Yeah.
have a strong relationship with my faith, you know, what
Beautiful.
I believe in God, and you know what I mean? And that's what helps ground me and bring me back. I make sure I have a couple conversations a day, every day,
That's amazing.
with him, and I put my feet back on the ground, right?
It's important to unplug when it's time to unplug.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And not stay plugged into the system.
Yeah.
When it may not be necessary, but it feels like you have to be
Hmm.
plugged in all the time, because that's just kind of, I don't want to say in your nature, but it's inside of you.
It
You
is.
feel like you need to be available for it
Yeah.
all the time, the business. But the reality is that balance in life is what's required for you to succeed even in your business. And taking the time off that you need to take and
Recharge.
away from it all, and really focusing on other parts of your life helps you, I think, in the business side as well.
Yeah. I have a
You
hard
know what?
time unplugging. I have a hard, like what he's talking about now, Vince. Like
Yep.
I have a hard time like unplugging from this place. You know what I mean?
It's easier
It's-
said than done. Yeah, definitely.
And
I'm
it's
sure.
necessary though. I've found over the years, as I've gotten a bit older, and I've realized the importance of it. You know what I mean? Because you have to be very careful, man. It'll chew you up quick
It's
Could-
not
you let-
Sure.
if you
It's
let
not
it.
an easy business.
No, I mean,
And-
there's days where I remember 10, 15 years ago, I'd lock myself in my office, turn off the lights, and just turn around and like close my eyes and just like say, I'm going to breathe through this now, and, you know, I'll figure out a way to get it done. And then you pick yourself up. But those are the moments where you really feel like you've crossed leaps and bounds, and like now you
Yep.
can take on anything. You know, if you got through to this, you can get through anything. So
It builds strength for the future, right?
Yeah,
Thicker skin to get through anything. You need those punches to be able to get back up.
So,
And
yeah, feeling some sort of connection to some, you know, I'm not trying to sound like, you know, biblical, religious, or Bible thumping by any stretch of the imagination. I believe what I believe. Other people believe what they believe, but I believe
Yeah.
in strong spiritual foundation that helps you stay grounded and connected to something bigger than what we can see and touch. So,
right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
That's awesome. That's really good feedback there. Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Hey guys, on this note, like outside of work, how do you guys recharge? Like, what do you enjoy doing when you're not thinking about asphalt? Let's say like you're not working, like you're
Just
just
let Vinny tell you this.
it's
one.
a holiday, a weekend, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I like to hike. I like to hike. I like to read. I like to hike. I exercise a lot. I try and stay healthy as much as I can. That ticks my boxes for me. And
Yep.
travel is probably number one for me. Yeah, those things. My family, spending time with my family, and seeing my kids grow up. Bittersweet, but
Yeah, they grow fast, right?
because they grow so fast. But other than that, those are the kind of things that help me to unplug. and
Nice, man.
recharge.
What about you, Flavio? What do you do to unplug?
I do a lot of hunting and fishing. I like to hunt.
Nice.
I like to fish. The weekends I like to, as much as we can get, with my boys and they go dirt biking. Up
Nice.
not too far away from where we are here. Yeah, like Vince is saying, time goes by fast. My oldest is in university, and my older boy is going for his license today.
His birthday.
Wow.
It's his
Wow.
birthday today. He just went to go and get his license with his mom this morning. I don't even know if he passed or not.
I hope he passes. Yeah. I'm sure he will. I'm sure Flavio gave him a lot of training or.
I hope he failed, Greg. I hope he failed.
That's true.
Oh my God.
They're growing up too quick, right?
Sometimes there's more lessons in failure than there are. And
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
There
that's
definitely
true.
are.
It's
But
true.
yeah, that's what I do. I like to hunt. I like to fish. I do, a lot of outdoorsy stuff. And I have hunting dogs, which I enjoy. Like doing.
Nice.
So I train them, and it takes time to do that type of training. So while I'm out, you're kind of out, country area, having to do the training and stuff like
that's
that.
therapy. That's
Oh,
like
yeah,
therapy.
Yeah,
That's
that's good.
therapeutic.
So you
between-
guys actually do get to like unplug when you can. Like when you can do these things, you do
Yeah,
it, and you can
for sure.
find that work-life balance, family, all that stuff. And
Yeah.
not
to
easy.
recharge.
Yeah, you need to recharge for sure. I mean, during the summer months, it's much more difficult because, we work we work Saturdays, half days, sometimes too. So you're working like 6 days a week. And then Sundays, you have to spend some time with your wife and kids and your family and stuff. So finding your own moments gets a little difficult in the summertime.
Yes.
But you try your best to find that Saturday afternoon, drive up to the farm, turn on the dirt bikes, go for a ride, train a dog, whatever, you know what I mean?
Would you say you have to find some time to spend on Sundays, or you want to spend?
Yeah. 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 But then come winter, it's like this for us. We move at a much slower pace. We never stop moving. But these are the
I'm sure
moments
there's-
where, like Vince was saying, the travel part, we really get to create some amazing memories with our family, with our families this time of year, where we get to go away as a family and spend time on a vacation somewhere and just kind of bond again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Great.
Beautiful. Yeah. So I guess the winter is a mix of that, vacationing, and when you're in the office, a lot of estimating is going on for the season that's approaching, right? You're always working.
Clients,
Lunches with
solidifying
clients,
relationships, stuff like that.
maintenance in the back, all our equipment. We paint actually ourselves a lot of our stuff.
Yeah.
That's why
Nice.
every year when we start, people are always saying, "Wow, Empire guys, your equipment's so nice and organized and clean." And
Mm-hmm.
well, we have
It
a crew,
is.
we have a crew in the back that we do touch ups on a yearly basis, even paint wise on all our equipment. So
That's really good.
yeah,
Nice.
Guys, if you guys could go back and talk to your earlier, like, yourselves earlier in your career, what would you do differently, or what would you double down on?
probably would have became a doctor, no? Big.
That's a tough one.
Mm.
I always like to say I don't have too many regrets.
Yeah.
But
So basically, you wouldn't do anything
I
differently.
could go
What would you
online.
double down on?
the contact to go online earlier to get us more leads.
So you would
All
double
right,
down on marketing.
so work with us a little sooner in your career.
Maybe, yeah, like if that was, I remember we used to try and do advertising back in the day in like the yellow pages and stuff, and that was always
Yeah.
really difficult. I remember driving around when I was in my late teens to my early 20s, from existing building to existing building, and incessantly measuring patches, hundreds of thousands of patches that never amounted to anything because people weren't really too serious, I guess, about doing the work at that time. And
Right.
if I had the skills and the negotiating skills and the communication skills that I have now, back when I was in my early 20s, probably I could have got a lot more work. So maybe that was
Yeah.
the thing that I would. But that's a tough thing to teach and to be hard on yourself about, because it's not really realistic, I think. I mean, when you're at that age, you're still with your friends, going out and partying, and
Yeah.
you're trying to figure out the world, and there's a lot of things going on in your head, right? So I
Yeah.
mean,
You're growing up, right?
you're growing up,
You're gaining experience in the business, whether it be out in
right?
the field or in sales or whatever it is.
And
So
you learn as you go, right?
You learn as
Yeah.
true
Yeah.
with experiences, yeah.
Well, that's the key to success. Like if you never stop learning and you know, you take what you're learning, or like you said, Vince, you know, sometimes failures are like lessons, right? So
They are
Exactly. Yeah.
whatever happens in your life keeps you
I'm
moving
a strong
forward.
proponent of that for sure.
Absolutely. I feel like I'm pretty happy with where I am in my life now. So I'm going to have to say I was trying my best to really conjure up and think of something, but I don't really know that I would change anything or double down on anything because I'm where I am now and I'm happy where I am. And that was, you know, that our story got me to where I'm sitting at right now. So I
Yep.
don't think I would want
Yeah.
to change any of that because then I wouldn't be where I am right now. I wouldn't have these 3 beautiful kids. We wouldn't have this relationship that we have. And you know what I mean? Like, so I'm happy. I'm happy with what this is. And, you know, we are on the same page about not having to, you know, make this company, you know, bigger than we're happy where we are. We're happy with our
Right.
size. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I think there's a lot of companies nowadays seeing a lot of the merger and acquisition market happening,
yeah,
and they are anxious to get on that gravy train as well. So they're
Yeah.
maybe trying to boost,
overextending.
overextend and trying to bring up their sales as much as possible at the expense of
Yeah, to look more
Everything.
sanity
right?
and
of
It's
sex.
it's at the
You
expense
could
of
lose your
everything,
sanity
probably,
over
right?
that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
financial gain as well. So I mean,
Yeah,
we're here for the long run, and we're happy where we are, and
yeah,
we don't need to have this massive god complex that some companies have.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So, you know, don't get me wrong, we've doubled in size over the last 10 years and that was our goal, you know what I mean, to get to where we are now and this is a comfortable place for us because although we are twice as big as we were 10 to 15 years ago, we definitely can continue to service efficiently and be there for our clients at this. Like I think if you go past where we are now, you start to lose control of things and you
Definitely.
just
Right.
you just don't carry the same name after in the
Yeah, or
industry.
you need to change the structure of your business, right? You need to change
Mhm.
the way you do things, which we may not necessarily, we don't really want to do that,
Yeah.
but you can't. I mean, you can go, you have
You
to
can go more corporate
relinquish
style.
control of some things and
You
more
lose control, you lose
Corporate style.
yourself, you lose a lot, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what
The
you
way
guys
you
got going
guys,
on and where you're at, you guys have it
Now
set
where
up
we are
perfectly.
is where we want to be. Yeah.
It's perfect.
yeah, you guys, like I've said before, you run a really impressive operation. And I know the size you're at, the equipment you're at, and team you have, you're really honed in with really providing a great service for property managers, developers, and maybe
Yeah.
some general contractors as well. So that's awesome that you know where you want to be and where you want to stay. You know, you always got to sustain what you have, a little bit of growth every year, but not let it get out of control, right?
Yeah.
right.
That's right.
Awesome. So, just kind of closing up here, for asphalt contractors listening right now, especially those that own a company, what's the one thing you believe truly separates companies that last from the ones that don't?
Be realistic with yourself. Stay true to yourself and don't overextend, I think, is one of the biggest ones. And really put everything you have into it. And you have to, I think, also have a partner, whether it's a wife or husband in your life that understands that you're running a business and there's going to be sacrifices that have to be made. And that whole going back to that whole balance thing is a big key. It's a big key, I think.
I think that's
Right.
it. That's a huge.
So,
Vince basically said most of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, one thing you mentioned there, so like your family, your wife, your partner, your husband, whatever it may be, if you're
That's
whoever owns
very
the
important.
company,
That's very important. That's very important.
you,
Yeah.
yeah, you need their buy-in to say, hey, my husband or my wife,
Absolutely.
whoever's running the business,
Yeah.
a lot of they work late, and I understand and I support them.
Yeah.
right?
Because of the nature of our work, right? Like everything, in order for this thing to stay and work harmoniously, obviously your life at work is good and has to be good, but your life at home, more importantly, has to be good and healthy. And then if your home life is not healthy, then you bring that to you. You bring that with you to work for sure.
That's right.
No matter how strong you are, eventually it's going to bleed out at work. So having a wife, in my case, that understands what I do, knows that I try my best to make up for time lost during the winter months, but understands that we live the life we live due to what me and Vince do during the summer months. So that's accepted and understood right off the hop, and that's how we make it work.
I mean, yeah, and let's be realistic. It's not always going to be good, even if they understand the sacrifice that has to be made,
Yeah.
and you do as well.
Yeah.
That's why unplugging and rekindling relationships and having that balance is so important.
Yeah. And I think going back to the actual main
Try to
question,
have it.
which was, who makes it, who doesn't make it. My opinion and my belief is the consistency of your day in and day out and your passion.
Right.
If you stay passionate about what you're doing and really love what you do, brother, you can't fail.
Yeah.
You just
Well
can't
said.
fail.
Well
Yeah.
said.
You cannot fail. Doesn't matter how big or how small, you just can't fail.
Love
Because
that.
you love
Yep.
what you do, so you've won already when you wake up in the morning. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. We're on the same page with that. Like if you're in the industry, you need money to survive and support your family, but don't do it for the money. Do it for the passion. And Flavio, you mentioned before, and the money will come.
Yeah.
Right? Service your customers, do a good job. Don't skimp out on materials and quality. And I think you could build a long-lasting.
I think who succeeds
business.
is ones that stay passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
Right. So in closing, I mean, you guys have been great. If someone listening today takes away just one lesson from your story, what do you hope it is?
Don't become a paver.
Unless, is there an unless you have?
No, I think like Flavio said just last about the last question.
Yeah.
Being passionate is the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you wake up in the morning and you don't want to do this anymore, then you shouldn't be doing it. You should be asking yourself more questions about why you're doing it. So for me, that would be also number one: staying passionate about what you do and loving it.
Awesome.
For those who are listening, like you can see the passion Vince and Flavio have just from the beginning of this episode, getting into detail about the history of their company and where they were and where they are now and the road to getting here. Like that's a true testament of putting your passion into everything and why they're as successful as they are today.
Gentlemen, thank
Hey.
you so much for your
Yeah,
time
thanks a
today.
lot.
I know your time is valuable and really appreciate that you took this time out of your day to spend with us. You guys were fantastic. Thank
Guys,
you.
we created history here. This is our episode 1 of the Blacktop Legends podcast.
Glad to be a part of it.
We
Thank
made
you,
it
guys.
together.
History together. This will be distributed across all of North America and the world. There's asphalt pavers and asphalt maintenance equipment companies and material producers all over the world who we were going to distribute this to. So
It's awesome.
thank you, Flavio and Vince Petrozza from Empire Paving in Toronto, Canada.
Okay,
Thank you,
boys.
gentlemen. Have a
Take
good
care,
one.
man.
Bye.
Thank you,
Guys,
guys.
thank you so much.